Live, local, now. This is the News at 5.
Ordered the mandatory evacuation of all people in all of the evacuation zones.
And Governor Henry McMaster giving the executive order for all coastal counties to evacuate by noon tomorrow. This includes Jasper, Beaufort, and Carleton counties.
In Hampton as well. Tonight, WTOC has team coverage in Georgia and in South Carolina. We want to go straight to WTOC meteorologist Jamie Earle for a look at the latest developments on Hurricane Florence in the 5 p.m. advisory just coming out.
The 5 p.m. advisory just came out, and Hurricane Florence is up to 140 mile-per-hour winds. 156 mile-per-hour winds is a Cat 5, so very strong hurricane that is hurtling toward the southeast coast. Let me show you the track as we continue to track this as it makes its way west northwest. See that west northwest? That's a good thing. We're seeing that northerly turn. Now it's good for Savannah, south through the Brunswick area and the rest of the coastal empire and low country. And let me take you through this track. 155 mile-per-hour winds. I just said 156 is a Cat 5. So we're going to see this strengthen, maybe lose a little bit of its strength, and then strengthen once again before it continues towards the southeast coast. We're talking about a possible 140 mile-per-hour storm blasting into the Florence area, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, and impacting Virginia. Do you see this balloon out here? Once it does make landfall, if it does, it will rain continuously for hours and hours because it gets stuck right in that area. Now take a look at this. The 5 o'clock update takes all of the low country, our viewing area, out of the cone of uncertainty. Now, there are still evacuation orders in place. We need to monitor that very closely, but there's always chance that this could change, so we will continue to track Florence, and we have several days. We have Thursday until it does impact the southeast coast. Guys?
South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster also ordering all state government offices and public schools to be closed in 26 counties tomorrow. This includes Beaufort, Carleton, Hampton, and Jasper County schools. Also, the University of South Carolina will be closed as well.
And back in Beaufort, it was a sunny day out there, but things obviously changing as the day went on.
Our Amanda LeBreau was out on Hilton Head Island today. Amanda, you spoke to residents and visitors. What are they saying?
Well, when I got here at about 3 o'clock, most of them coming off the beach didn't even know about the evacuation orders yet. I was the first person to ask them when I was asking for their reaction for them to find out that they were going to be in a mandatory evacuation starting tomorrow here in Beaufort County. Lots of people coming off the beach, even a few going back on tonight to enjoy the last few good hours before they may have to get out of town for that evacuation. Lots of people coming from places like Illinois, Virginia, even North Carolina, some in the mountains who now think they can go home, but they may now have to deal with flooding when they get there. So lots of people now altering vacation plans. A lot of them just got here yesterday, they say, and maybe they'll just drive on down to Florida and enjoy the beach weather there. So some people who have lived on the island are getting a little tired of having to evacuate, but they are taking this seriously. Take a listen to what one local and one couple who's going to have to leave have to say about it.
I have lived on the island for 4 years, and I've had to evacuate this would be the 3 out of the 4 years. If it's just a tropical, I probably won't, but I already have plans in place for a hotel, which I booked 2 days ago, that I can cancel tomorrow if I decide not to go free of charge. So it's nice that they do that.
Well, we were hoping it would go further north and then we'd get to stay.
I kept telling my in-laws, don't panic. We keep watching the National Weather Service.
So many people here on the beach today obviously disappointed, but taking those evacuation orders seriously. They're encouraging others who are here maybe saying, we're not going to be impacted at all to do the same. We'll, of course, keep you updated both on air and online as this changing storm is making, landfall or going back into the ocean. Whatever happens, we're going to be the ones to let you know when it's happening as it happens. Live in Beaufort, Amanda LeBreau, WTOC News.
And officials here in Georgia are keeping a close eye on the storm because of that cone of uncertainty has been tracking pretty close to our area.
Yeah, today officials with the Chatham Emergency Management Agency holding a news conference about 3 o'clock, letting residents know tomorrow will be a normal day for business, schools, and other state and local agencies in Chatham County.
Our message right now is to be prepared. If you don't already have a disaster kit, we encourage you to go find a checklist in order to build one. Put it together. You've got it if this storm happens to come this way. If it doesn't come this way, then you've got an emergency kit that you can store away in a closet, and it's available to you for the next time.
And in that kit, you need to have 3 days worth of food and water for each person in your family. Also pack flashlights, weather radios, and extra batteries. You'll also want to have a first aid kit on hand. And make sure that you pack all necessary medications, important documents, and have some cash on hand. And don't forget to pack supplies for your pets as well. And even though Georgia is not in that cone of uncertainty right now, it doesn't mean that Georgia's coastline will not see an impact.
Right there, checking out Tybee Island. That is a live look from our Skycam, seeing Butler Avenue. Also on Tybee, Harley Strickland with the latest on how officials want you to stay safe. Harley?
Well, Mike, the sun is shining right now on Tybee Island, and people are still out enjoying the beach and the waves. But at the same time, emergency crews are making a plan just in case any of that bad weather makes it here to our area. Chatham Emergency Management Agency, known as SEMA, has been meeting throughout today, making sure they have plans in place for Hurricane Florence. Right now, they are in operating condition 4, which means they are actively monitoring the storm and keeping the Emergency Operations Center activated throughout the day. SEMA tells me they have been coordinating with partners to make sure everything is in order. One area of concern is the coast, which would include Tybee Island. Tybee Island Mayor told me today he is encouraging people who live on the island to pay close attention to the hurricane updates and be prepared ahead of time.
I think it's just important to realize that just a slight shift in the projected path of this storm could lead to more severe impacts for us. So it doesn't take much of a change in path, in the projected path of this thing, for us to be impacted with heavier winds, storm surge, things like that.
The mayor told me they are working very closely with SEMA on this storm and will keep you updated. And he also says pay attention to SEMA. And of course, we will bring you the latest on this storm as we get more information. Live on Tybee Island, Harley Strickland, WTOC News.
And preparations in North Carolina are underway as they brace for the storm.
Governor Roy Cooper saying at a news conference at the state's Emergency Operations Center that North Carolina right now is in the bullseye of that rapidly strengthening storm. Chelsea Donovan reports from Wilmington, North Carolina.
New Hanover County here is currently under a state of emergency. Also coming from the Emergency Services Director, he described this Hurricane Florence, as very Hugo-esque, saying it's been decades since we've seen a storm of this magnitude. The main concern here from emergency services officials is marine concerns, erosion, rip currents, and storm surge. Stephen Sill, Emergency Services Director, believes that storm surge could be more than 15 feet in an already heavily saturated area from July rains. He says we could see tropical storm force winds starting as early as Wednesday night. Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., that is Tuesday morning, Emergency Services Center here, the operations facility, will be fully activated in New Hanover County going forward.
The governor announced that he has activated 200 National Guardsmen with the possibility of up to thousands more. We support that effort. We think that's very thoughtful and forward-looking planning for what we expect to be a statewide emergency event.
There have been no decisions yet on local shelters to open. Also, no decisions made yet for mandatory evacuations of our local beach communities. Also up for discussion, if possibly, they will make I-40 from Wilmington westbound, opening all lanes to mitigate what could be a large evacuation here in the Wilmington area. For the Raycom News Network, I'm Chelsea Donovan.
Now, if you would like to keep track of Hurricane Florence, you can download our free WTOC weather app. There you're going to be able to take a look at the radar. You can even get alerts sent straight to your phone. Another way to track the storm is by heading over to our website, WTOC.com, and of course the news app by clicking on the Hurricane Resources tab.
And while Florence sets its eye on the southeast, today marks 1 year since Hurricane Irma. Tonight on WTOC, we'll be taking a look back at the preparations and damage from the storm. Tune in tonight at 7 o'clock as we look at Irma's impact.
And we're tracking some thunderstorms locally here, not so much here in the downtown Savannah area, though we have a lot of clouds showing up over the downtown area. First alert planner keeps some rain chances about 30% through 6 p.m., and then we drop them down to about 20% heading into the evening hours. There's your Safe Touch Security First Alert Live radar. Even though we got a lot of clouds, not much here along the coast. It's inland where we saw some thunderstorms. These are tending to weaken right now, but they're not really moving all that much. You can see the heavier showers kind of just north of Georgia 144 in northern Bryan County, south of Pembroke, in the northern areas of Fort Stewart, heading back over towards Glenville area. It's got about 240 lightning strikes in there. And again, we're still seeing some locally heavy rain, but that trend should begin to weaken as the sea breeze moves on inland. We are looking at lower rain chances as we go through the evening hours, and then our attentions are certainly turning to what's going on out there with Florence, Category 4 hurricane, still some almost 1,200 miles southeast of our area. We'll have more on Florence and your first alert forecast coming up as the news continues.
Welcome back, everybody. We are continuing to track Hurricane Florence. This is a major hurricane at this point, taking aim right at the Carolina coast. And many viewers out there might have a few questions. They want to know things. They've been asking us on Facebook, and we posted on Facebook just about an hour ago, asking what your main concerns are involving this hurricane. Meteorologist Dave Turley joining us now, and we're trying to check out and see what people are looking at.
We got a couple questions that we had them send in there. We can see we can answer some of these questions for you. And if we're taking a look at some of these questions, a lot of the people were really wondering what's going to happen with the track. If this track actually moves a little bit further southward, then what are we going to see as far as the impacts on our area? That's what a lot of the concerns over here were from that. Now, what we're looking at, and they're concerned about that because, you know, South Carolina has issued that mandatory evacuation for all the coastal counties. When we're very close to that, how come we don't have any? Well, we go by what the data is actually showing. The forecast computer models are looking at this system. A lot of them are really tightly compact, bringing it into North Carolina. Now, based on that track, the impacts on our area are going to be very minimal. But that track could certainly change if any further southward adjustment in that track would bring some of those maybe tropical storm winds into our area. But that does not look like it's going to be happening based on what we're seeing now. That's why we have no evacuations or anything like that for anywhere into Chatham County and even Beaufort County and Jasper County in our low country regions. We might not get anything out of this system as we move on into Thursday and Friday. I think they're being very cautious because there's a big if that storm was to track a little bit further southward, we really need to be prepared because here it is Monday. This storm is going to be barreling in there by Thursday. So I think that's what the concern was there for parts of our South Carolina area. So again, here's what we have the latest on Florence right now. This is the official track. As we take a look at that, it's Category 4 hurricane, and the official track takes it into North Carolina, right near the Wilmington area. It's been that track here for the past 24, 36 hours or so, and that's what you like to see, consistency in the forecast track. You don't like to see that track shifting back and forth. That means I have a very low confidence in it, and if it's been staying this way, we have a much better handle on where this storm is going to go. We know it's going to be moving into this area. It's going to be a very powerful hurricane, and let's say not all, but a lot of the computer models are really honing in on parts of North Carolina. So that's why we have all those concerns, especially from Myrtle Beach on northward into Wilmington and a lot of eastern North Carolina. So the bottom line, based on this current track that is going to be staying north of our area, no direct impact as far as the rain or wind for our area. The concerns we're going to be looking at are going to be coastal concerns, high surf, rip current risk, beach erosion, and possible flooding around the times of high tide, again, based on that current track. Now, if it does get adjusted southward, it could be changing. So we need you to continue to get those updates every 6 hours from the National Hurricane Center. 5 p.m. advisory just came out. The next one will be coming out at the 11 p.m. hour. The WTOC First Alert weather app and, of course, our Hurricane Center page at WTOC.com are great places to get that current information. So that is for Thursday. What's going on right now? We have a lot of clouds out there, and we're seeing some showers, not here in Savannah. We're 79 degrees. We had a thunderstorm at the airport. Give us some rain, cooled air, but generally averaging these temperatures in the middle 80s for the areas that did not see the rain. You see going into the next couple of hours. And there's a look at our Safe Touch Security First Alert Live radar. It's this area here for western areas of Bryan County, south of Pembroke, just north of 144, heading now north of Hinesville, in the northern areas of Fort Stewart, heading back towards the Beards Creek area and just to the east of Glenville, which is kind of seeing that area rain itself out. We put this into motion. Sea breeze developed. We got some showers and a few storms kind of working its way on inland right now, but this is forecast to weaken pretty quickly here as we head through the evening hours. I want to show you some of the computer models. This is our GFS, the American model in the yellow and the European model in black. We're going to go over into the next several days, and you see how very close they are into Wednesday at 12 o'clock. Now watch, they all bring it up here into North Carolina. Not much of an impact here for our area based on those computer models that we make our forecast off of. So based on this, it looks like we're going to be okay for now. But again, I want to stress that that forecast could certainly change. So based on that, wake-up temperatures, we're in the low to mid-70s. Pretty quiet. Hour-by-hour forecast shows how quickly these showers and storms end tonight, probably by about that 8:30 hour. And then we're dry as we head through the evening hours. I think it'll be pretty quiet over the next couple of days. Certainly watching the tropics. That should say more here for Thursday. And then look at this. We only got a 20% chance for any showers or storms. Based on this track, we might not see any rain out of this system as it goes up towards eastern areas of North Carolina for the end of the week.
Well, continuing to track Hurricane Florence, preparations underway in Charleston, South Carolina, for people both evacuating and those staying in place.
Brooke Griffin reports from Charleston today with how food banks are getting ready for Florence.
Hurricane Florence is still hundreds of miles away, but the potential impact has people trying to prepare. Today, the Lowcountry Food Bank began packing disaster relief boxes for those who are unable to buy or even find food. Lowcountry Food Bank volunteers and employees traded in their desks for tape and scissors today to pack boxes going out to the disaster relief pickup areas. Those boxes are headed to Myrtle Beach today, but they will be available for Charleston and the Tri-County as early as tomorrow morning. These boxes contain pasta, canned items, and even apples, and that's just to name a few. The Lowcountry Food Bank operating officer says that people should always plan for the unexpected.
And if your refrigerator has no food that's usable, and you weren't planning on taking, a good bit of money to resupply your whole refrigerator, that's an expense that a lot of people aren't expecting, and those are the folks that I'm worried about.
Over 600 boxes have already been packed up and sent out today for those in need. In Charleston, I'm Brooke Griffin for the Raycom News Network.
What's fueling gas prices to go up? The numbers you need to know about getting gas in Savannah.
Well, if you've been to the pump recently in Savannah, you might have noticed gas prices have gone up slightly. According to Gas Buddy, prices in Savannah have risen about 1.1 cents per gallon in the past week, averaging about $2.67, including the change locally during the past week. Prices yesterday were 2.3 cents per gallon higher than a year ago and about 4 cents per gallon lower than a month ago. Now, remember, you can always keep track of prices at the pump in our area, heading to our website, WTOC.com. All you have to do is go to the traffic page and click on the Pump Patrol. Also want to remind you, with the evacuation order in South Carolina, along the coast, beware of price gouging. If you see anything or believe that these prices have spiked excessively because of that evacuation order, there is a South Carolina hotline set up. You can also find that on our website, WTOC.com.
And live on the roadways, the WTOC Jamie Casino traffic tracker. Well, we're looking good on Highway 80 there. A little bit of dark clouds in the distance, but Dave and I have been tracking some thunderstorms throughout the coastal empire. I'm sorry, that's 17. We just passed Little Park. I should know that. We're heading toward Dean Forest Road. Sorry, I thought that was Tom Triplett Park on Highway 80. Let's go ahead and take a look at our drive times because the main concern today has been crash on Diamond Causeway. That's cleared, but 16 westbound between 516 and I-95 down to 7 minutes. That is fantastic after earlier crashes snarled the highway.
In light of recent health scares on board airplanes, there are a few things that you can do to stay healthy on flights. The enclosed airspace, recirculated air, and a large number of people make planes prime breeding grounds for bacteria. To help fend off illness above cruising altitude, experts say that you should carry antibacterial wipes and hand sanitizer. Wipe down those tray tables, seatbelt buckles, armrests, and seat back pockets when you sit down. You should also hydrate and choose a window seat. People who sit by the window have the smallest risk of infection because they have the least contact with other passengers.
Bullock County preparing themselves, not taking any chances in the face of Florence. We'll tell you what they're doing with Dow Kennedy coming up.